Hello everyone, Jaime Zuleta here. Welcome back to my channel, back with another video. Guys, I want to first of all, and it's been something that I've thanked every single one of you over my last videos, as a new content creator, slash podcaster, slash YouTuber, whatever you want to call it. Very thankful for all the comments, likes, shares that you've done. Please keep watching me either on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and put a like, if you think that something that I say here makes sense to you. And if it doesn't, mate, it's very simple. Just swap over to the next channel. All right. Guys, what we're going to talk about today is a very important day for most of us who consider themselves or are Australians, which is Australia Day. Now, it's been a bit controversial for some people over the years, or tried to make it controversial over the years, of the celebration of this day. Mainly because, as you can see in the background, very proudly I have an Australian flag. And mainly because of that little cross slash, lines in red and white over there that means the Union Jack. Now the Union Jack is a representation of the British flag and is something that it's in the Australian flag as well. And then on the other side, it is a bit of a controversy because we celebrate a day when some people like the Aboriginal people or the Indigenous people of Australia take it as it was more of an invasion on that day. So that's a bit where it stands. Now, I want to be very responsible, very respectful in saying that personally, and a lot of people in Australia, a bit tired and sick of people out there within our community, within our nation, trying to make us feel like we don't belong in this country. Like we shouldn't have a say. We shouldn't, we should let other people prevail in the decisions onto where we stand in our nation. And I'm here, and I'm sure there's a lot of people here to say that we are not going to put up with that. Saying this, we are very proud, and I'm very proud to be Australian. I love every single one of you that are out there watching this video, and those that are not watching this video. In Australia, we live a lot by, our values, which are honesty, respect, our culture, which for some we might say we don't have much of a culture because we're a fairly new country compared to a lot of countries out there that are 3,000 years old, etc. But we do have our culture. It might not be much, but it's ours. And it involves a lot of sporting activities like cricket. It involves a lot of things related to the beach. It revolves a lot around our barbecues and our community, etc., etc., etc. So saying this, I decided I was going to write a little bit of a speech in what I thought our flag represents. Because I personally want every single person that is watching this video, or every single Australian out there that feels proud about this day. I can understand that there's certain things maybe of our flag that not every single person agrees with. And maybe there is parts of the Union Jack, or there is parts of our flag that some people might even find a bit offensive because of things that, Great Britain or the UK did in the past. But guys, that's part of who we are today. Do we acknowledge some of the bad things that maybe Great Britain did or our ancestors did? Yes, we've acknowledged it. And I think the Australian government has acknowledged it, over the many years, and has asked for forgiveness from the Aboriginal communities, But it's time that we've got to all be together and we've got to unite. But that doesn't mean that people can come along and destroy our flag, burn our flag. And for me personally, it should be in a law that if you burn our flag, there is harsh consequences for that because it's who represents our country. Now, if you have a specific surname, for example, my name is Zuleta, okay, and it comes from a Spanish background, a place called Vizcaya, which is the north of Spain, but my parents are from South America, from Chile. Now, it must have been that people from Spain must have gone there, done a bit of their thing with a few Latin ladies or Latin men or whatever, and, and the culture became a mixed culture of European settlers, etc. Now, I'm sure that if I go through my surname or someone goes through their family crest, there's things that they would not be proud of, or people that they might not be proud of. But that doesn't mean that you're going to drop your surname or you're going to drop your family crest or you're going to drop your flag because of certain people that didn't really represent us. But to give you a bit of a story on the Australian flag, it's not that someone imposed this flag on us. This flag was designed by Australian people. In 1901, we used to use the English flag, but until we became a federation, we had to internationally, represent ourselves in some way. So government called for contestants to design the Australian flag. And for that time in history, it was a lot of people. It was 32,000 contestants that participated in the creation, the design of our flag. Out of those 32,000 people, it was 5 people that nearly did identical flags, like the one that you're seeing here. 5 people. So they decided that those 5 people were going to actually win. And that's where our flag was created. Now, it was created with a couple of different symbols, and one is a Union Jack, and we also have the Southern Cross, and we have stars that represent, or crosses that represent every single one of our territories here in Australia. Okay? So, and the Southern Cross has even been used by Aboriginal people as well, and it was one of the considerations the contestants took into this, because the Aboriginals used it for navigation, and they even used it as Indigenous stories, such as Mirbuka and Jinan. So there is a significance within the Southern Cross to, traditional Australian Indigenous people. So that's how the flag was initiated. Now, we need to stop the people that are trying to divide this country. We are proud Australians, and Australia Day is here to stay, and we should celebrate it. We are part at fault as Aussies that today, a lot of Australians, we don't wear, Australian flags as a t-shirt, as a cap, as a pin, and that's one of the things that I love about, I lived in the States, in LA, in California for a couple of years, and trust me, they love us over there. But independently of that, they are very proud of their flag. They love their flag. And do you think that they haven't had certain things in their past that they don't feel ashamed of? With the Confederates and their internal wars and all the things that have happened over the years, they've got their own racial, with their slavery and et cetera, but they still, every single one of them stands proud of their flag. And I don't see black Americans going around, we should burn the flag and et cetera, et cetera. No. It's who has created them as a nation. And this is who's created us as a nation. So please, I'd like to see every single one on Australia Day go out and celebrate. Enjoy this country, this beautiful country and its beautiful people. Now, you're going to please give me a little minute. I decided to do a bit of a speech that I wrote, all right? I'm no writer at all, but I had a crack at what I felt the Australian flag meant to me. So I'm going to read it out for you, so bear with me a little bit, all right? And it's not too long, it's not too short, but here we go. The Australian flag. The Australian flag is not just a cloth and colour. It is a heartbeat of a nation. It has flown above our soldiers at Gallipoli and along the Kokoda track and across the battlefields of Europe, North Africa, the Pacific and the Middle East during World War I and World War II. Standing for courage, sacrifice and the Australian commitment to the global freedom. It has stood tall in peacekeeping missions in East Timor, the Solomon Islands, Afghanistan and Iraq. Not as a symbol of war, but of peace, stability and hope. The flag has flown aboard space missions, including with Australian astronauts and scientific payloads, carrying our innovation, curiosity and national pride to the stars. It has risen over the frozen silence of Antarctica, marking Australia's leadership in science and environmental protection. It has soared on Olympic podiums, from Cathy Freeman's unforgettable gold at Sydney 2000 to Australian topping the medal tally 1956 Melbourne Olympics. And it continues to wave across cricket grounds, rugby fields, swimming pools and netball courts wherever Australians compete and triumph. It has marked our birth as a nation of federation in 1901, and it stands proudly at citizenship ceremonies where new Australians pledge loyalty to this country and its people. It has flown at state funerals and war memorials, honouring those who shaped our nation and those who gave their lives for it. And it has been present in moments of deep compassion. In disaster relief, from tsunami aid in Indonesia to bushfires and flood responses here at home. When Australians step forward, not for recognition, but because it's the right thing to do. From war to peace, from science to sport, from hardship to hope, our flag tells one powerful story. That Australia stands strong, stands fair, and stands for a better future for all. And that is something truly worth standing for. That is our Australian flag. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. This has made us cry, has made us laugh, has made us rejoice. Let's not forget where we come from. Let's not forget what we're about. And let's celebrate this day between all of us. Now, just to finish this off, as is not going to be a longer video today, as I wanted to make it specifically just about our country and what's going on with our flag. And thank you for sharing my videos. Thank you for watching them. Please like, subscribe, follow, and to all of you out there, Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. I'm out. Zuleta. See ya.